the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Could we have a roll call of the board?
Randy Ray,
Present.
Tracy Edrick,
Here.
Ian Rico,
Here.
Richard Wiggleman,
Here.
Michael Belfast,
Here.
Matthew Charles.
Here, we do have a quorum tonight. We can conduct business. The next item is the approval of the agenda. I am going to suggest that we add item number 9I, board appointments as needed. Any other additions or deletions from the agenda?
No, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have support, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll go on to the first call to the public. This is for any agenda-related items. Anyone wishing to address the Township Board at this time? Seeing no response, we will close the first public comment period. We'll move on to the consent agenda. You have the approval of the May 20th, 2026 regular board meeting minutes, approval of the May 6th, 2026 executive session meeting minutes, and the approval of the submitted bills list in the amount of $498,454.90.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have multiple supports. With that, we have motion and support. Discussion on the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, department head reports. Chief, do you, nothing? Nothing? Okay, with that, Tricia, do you have a treasurer's report?
Yep, just, we have secured the financing for the tanker 82, if I'm saying that correctly, Chief. And everything will be set by next week, and I think we're looking at delivery next week. So we got a pretty good rate with Fifth Third Bank, which is recently taken over by Comerica. So they've been really easy to work with. So that is in motion at this point. And then other than that, we are working on the 2026 summer tax bill. And it went pretty smooth. I'm actually training my deputy treasurer how to do the tax roll, so that's been kind of great to get her familiar with the backside of the taxes. And then also doing our first billing with the Greenwoods wastewater treatment plant. BSNA finally, as of today, I think has every kink worked out. So those bills will be going out hopefully seamlessly. And other than that, just getting ready to gear up for tax season. Very busy.
Okay. Michael, do you have a clerk's report?
Yes, I do. We had the May election, and we were happily selected for an additional audit of our results, which we'll be going through next week. Other than that, the election went well. We've submitted the billing to the Brighton school system. So far, the billing for the Brighton school election, us and the other municipalities that participated, is well over $100,000. So it's, we'll probably see them again in November. Beyond that, the audit begins in 2 weeks for the township. And along with that, there's some great news, as I feel. We brought in Woodhill Group a couple of years ago, and they have gone through our finances, if you will, and they have helped us reach the 21st century and spent a great deal of time with our people on staff. And we no longer need Woodhill Group here at the township, except for occasional visits or maybe multiple visits in a month, half-day visits like we've been doing for the foreseeable future. As a result of those changes in the tutoring and the education, I'm very pleased to announce that today the Personnel Committee voted to approve the promotion to Don Levites to the Finance Director for the Township. This was on recommendation from Woodhill Group that we do this, and I
There he goes.
couldn't be more proud. And you're right. So with that, she will be attending the meetings on a more regular basis, giving us the financial reports. And congratulations.
Okay, anything else?
Nah,
Okay. All right, we'll leave it at that.
there he goes. Nice, nice.
But I will echo, yes, Dawn has done a fantastic job, and it is absolutely a pleasure to work with her, and, you know, some of the reports and stuff that she's doing for me makes my job so much easier, and so this is a good move.
Well, then I'm going to just kind of mirror a little bit of that. Dawn, if I can say anything, I know you're back there somewhere. You have literally made the transition and the relationship between the treasurer's office and the accounting department amazing. Like, from when I first stepped into my role 3 years ago, I would have never imagined we were here, and I thank Mike, and I thank Woodhill, and I thank for your hard dedication, because you definitely make my job a lot easier now to focus on what needs to be focused on as a treasurer. So thank you and congratulations. Well deserved.
Thank you. Okay, supervisor's report, not as glowing as the following you two, but bottom line is, Tracy, I think you'll be interested in this. We understand that Oakwood Meadows is getting ready for their paving. They're out there marking up the area, and didn't get out there today as I had planned, but it should be forthcoming. Again, we're in a 3-year cycle, and we're starting it. You know, I've got Denise going crazy. We got to start our third year cycle of lead and copper sampling in some of our older subdivisions. So we will be sending out letters looking for volunteers to allow us to come and take a sample of their water, and if it doesn't work, I shouldn't put this on the air, but if it doesn't work to get volunteers, I'll be going to get some gift cards to offer gift cards. Had to do that 3 years ago. I got to do it. Yeah. So we'll start that again with the Water Authority, and other SADs. I know Arbor Meadows is looking at possibly doing something to their roads. So Garrett Olson and I will be attending a meeting later in July with their neighborhood. We'll give them the scoop of how to do it, what the prices are, and if they decide to do it, they'll move forward. And I'm getting a lot of calls from with mixed calls regarding Silverside, and that one is picking up some steam. So with that, that's other than everything else that's going on in the supervisor's department, I think that's where I'll leave it. Okay, with that, moving on to correspondence. Any correspondence needed, Michael?
Not at this time.
Okay, we'll go into business items, and the first one is the fire department new chief hiring process.
Good evening. With my retirement looming, I've met with the Personnel Committee, and we've posted and received a number of resumes, many of them very well qualified. The Personnel Committee met today and reduced the list from high double digits to 8. And at this point, we're suggesting that the 8 be sent to the Assessment Center. Originally, the document you have quoted the Assessment Center for 4 candidates at a certain amount, but the Personnel Committee was unable to reduce the number to less than 8 because there were that many good candidates. And that's a really good thing for the township. It speaks very highly for the attractiveness of the township, and many of the candidates commented on that in their various letters. So the IMCO process, which I believe some of the board members are familiar with because we've used it before, involves 3 outside chiefs sitting with, as a panel, no particular relationship to the candidates. It's pretty much impossible not for them not to know anybody in our business, but they have no relationship to the candidates. They test them on an interview, on various scenarios, budgeting, personnel, union matters, all sorts of things. And then they give you a score, which combined with the resume, lets you know how the person works on paper and how a 360-degree view of how the person works as a human. So that will give the board the most information. The idea would be to do the assessment center on June 23rd and 24th. It's a 2-day process because there's 8 candidates. And then the board would, on July 1st, be able to interview the candidates that's selected after that. And that's basically the process. The updated cost for 8 candidates, which I've talked it over with the personnel committee, and they preferred this route, is $13,400.
Not as bad as I thought.
And it's,
It's not bad.
yeah, it's better than I thought too. So that is the updated cost. We've got the dates locked down, and we submitted the candidates to IMCO, and IMCO is going through their files, finding the appropriate individuals who have no relationship to the candidates to be assessors. Our experience with IMCO assessors has been very professional, and they do a good job. They give you a lot of information that you can deal with, and then you can make the best decision for the township. So that's our recommendation.
Michael?
Was part of the selection process, personnel committee, and I will say we had 20 candidates,
27.
27 candidates. It was, frankly, it was impossible to narrow that down to 4 because there was some very high-quality candidates. I think that will serve the township the best if we do interview them all and find out more about these candidates. I think this is what we need for the future of this township.
What I found interesting and fun is that each one of us, Tricia, myself, Michael, Kirsty from HR, and Kevin, Chief Gentry, each one of us had copies, and each one of them separately went through the applications. Not together, but separately. And I think it's fair to say that 6 of the 8 ended up on our A list, all of us, which I thought was amazing. And the other 2 were,
We scored them green, yellow, red.
yeah, they were floating between the highest and the second. So I think, and this is in the best interest of the township and the fire department as a whole, to have the selection of candidates that we have, go through the process. What I would recommend to the township board is, because this is in the best interest of the township, that the general fund go ahead and fund this process.
We had talked about that before, and I completely
I
agree
agree.
with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, agreed.
So,
Need to make a motion?
Motion to approve it as presented.
yep,
Okay.
with the updated cost.
Updated cost and 8 candidates.
And that is coming from the general fund.
And it's coming from the general fund, so that's, there you go.
Township general. fund.
General fund.
You make that motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have support. Discussion on the motion?
Do you have the motion, what we're looking for? Okay.
Okay with that.
I don't know how, but, okay.
She's good.
Kelly's good. Okay, roll call, please.
Ian Ringo.
Yes.
Tricia Riccobandi.
Yes.
Tracy Edgar.
Yes?
Randy Ray.
Yes.
Michael Bublak.
Yes.
Mark St. Charles.
Yes, motion passes.
Thank
Chief,
you.
thank you. Okay, going on to the next item, Reich's Farm subdivision septic. I'll kind of kick it off here, and then I'm going to turn it over to CES, but as everyone knows, the Utility Committee and CES has been working with Eagle, the Livingston County Health Department, and our operator, Rick Kangas, to address the degradation of the common septic field. It's apparent that Eagle will require the township to continue monitoring the system flows to demonstrate an average daily flows remain under the 10,000 gallons per day. In my 30 years of serving as supervisor and trustee, this represents the third major repair to this system. It's in my opinion, the township needs to thoroughly explore all available options for the residents of Wright's Farm to determine the most sustainable long-term solution. The CES has proposed the attached work plan, and I would recommend that the township's general fund initially finance the study that's being proposed with the intent of recovering those costs through the final repair project or alternative solution that is ultimately selected. And I didn't put it in here, but I had started some discussions with the city of Brighton to see if that was a possibility, and when it turned out to be a possibility, I relayed it back to Mr. Nearing, and there you go. Your proposal.
Hello. I think all of you know us, but for the audience, I'm Leslie Zawada, President of Civil Engineering Solutions, and this is Mike Nearing, Senior Project Manager in charge of our design projects. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike to give a high-level summary of the proposal. It's very detailed. Of the 3 different analysis that we would perform under this proposal.
Right. Thanks, Leslie. So board members, our proposal is relatively straightforward. We're going to evaluate 3 different options. The first, in no order of preference, by the way, but the first option would be to just basically replace the system that's out there, evaluate the pumps. But we do know that one of the septic tanks, there needs to be additional septic tanks added to the system. So we'll evaluate the condition, we'll estimate the costs associated with replacing it. As Mark has already said, this will be the 3rd system that's been out there, or the 3rd septic field that's been out there since the subdivision was built approximately in 1987 or 1988. So it's kind of averaging about 1 replacement every 15 years. This is expensive work. It's kind of time consuming and or impactful to the residents. So we'll evaluate the costs associated with just replacing the system in kind. We will then also look at, as Mark said, they've had some preliminary conversations with the City of Brighton utility folks, and they are receptive to allowing the septic flows or the sewage flows from Reich's Farm to be outletted to their existing pump station, which is right over there off Rickett Road by the that Baptist church. It's the little Quonset hut looking thing on the west side of the road, if you're familiar with the area, which I assume you are. And so that's where the pump station is. We would work to size the force main that it would take to, outlet the sewage from Reich's Farm over to that location, evaluate the costs or estimate the costs associated with building the force main, the operational costs associated with running a lift station, and then the sewage disposal fees and the costs associated with that. And the third option is to basically do the same thing except run the force main to the the township's existing gravity sewer that's located off Lee Road. I think it's over there by the 7-Eleven on Lee Road, and we'll confirm where that actual outlet manhole is. There's a little bit of discrepancy on some of the records that we have, so we'll figure that out. We'll estimate the costs associated with that construction, and also the maintenance and operational costs of those 2 pumping systems, and do what's called a life cycle cost analysis over the expected lifetime of the systems to determine what is the lowest overall life cycle cost option available, present that information to the township, and then, and to the residents, and you folks can then decide which direction you want to head. And that, in a nutshell, is the work plan and the work that we would perform as part of this alternatives analysis.
And Just to add onto this, I'm not sure if all of you are aware, the existing system, the board authorized us to design the replacement, and we were working towards that. But it's also located in an easement in the backyard of 2 homes, and it just isn't really an ideal situation. And in discussing this with Mr. St. Charles and the township staff, sometimes it's better to take a further, like an overall look and more of a master plan approach rather than to just go in and replace this. It certainly is an option and one that we would go through the process, but it's just, if subdivision was proposed today and it was a community septic, my recommendation would be not to put it in somebody's lot. It would be in an open space area, and it's really not that easy to get to or to reconstruct without affecting those 2 homeowners specifically.
Yep.
So that's, in a nutshell, our proposal, and it's included in your packet for your consideration tonight.
If you think about it, any repair, any way, any option that we use is going to be an SAD of some type.
Mm-hmm.
If you go with the option of fixing the system, which I don't think is going to be really cheap, it's going to be fairly expensive. That's going to be spread over 10 to 15 years. Well, we know by the life cycles and the soil conditions out there, about every 15 years, we're back at it again. And so this is an opportunity to say to the residents, you can keep going down this path, recognizing every 15 years we're going to be back at the table, or somebody's going to be back at the table doing this, or we can solve the problem.
And the other part of that too is every time you go to do a repair of the septic, it has to be brought up to the current Eagle standards,
Right.
which is part of the current predicament and why we're looking at adding septic tanks and potentially pre-treatment based on flow. So it isn't, you don't just meet the standards when it was originally built, you have to continually, and so looking at 2 other permanent alternates for the residents, I think makes sense, and we've worked to prepare this, but it's really up to you to decide which way you'd like to move forward.
I just add one more thing about that. As part of that existing system, a pump failed sometime last year, took several months to replace it, and the cost of replacing the pump was, quite frankly, shocking. And Mark can attest to that. And so I guess what I'd say is, not only are you looking at replacing, the tile field itself and fixing the tanks or adding more tanks, but there's genuine costs associated with repairing the pumps and taking care of that and keeping it in operation. And so it's not just, do we go in there and, kind of replace the tile field? It's all the other stuff that comes along with it. And that's not to say that if there's a permanent pump station there that pumps to someplace else, that won't have operational costs as well. But that's the whole point of, you kind of look at these and you amortize these costs over a long period of time or over an appropriate period of time, and you get a better sense of how are you or how are the residents spending your money. And so again, it'll help put you in the best position you can to make an informed decision about the long-term solution and what really does make sense. And it could very well turn out that repairing the tile field in the system does make the most sense financially. But, until we do the analysis, we don't really know that. And so, that's why we're kind of here tonight.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I want to say too. One, I think it's good to do this and to get these numbers, and we sit down with the residents and say, here's your options. What makes sense? Because ultimately, they're the ones that are going to be, affected. But I also want to say too, that, and hopefully somebody in the subdivision's watching on YouTube, but I want to acknowledge that when we first started this, we were looking at flows that were, quite frankly, interesting. That's a good term. And working with the neighbors, we've come a long way, I think, because we've actually went through, we've got several, of the homes, yes, their water softeners were connected to the sanitary. They got them off. Some pumps were taken off the sanitary system. We did a smoke test on the collection system to eliminate infiltration. So, I mean, we've done a lot of work in the last, what, year and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
The flows were extremely high when we first started looking,
Yeah.
much higher than you would expect.
yeah, so those have come down, and that's good, but as I mentioned, Eagle's gonna want a lot more data, so this is a good time, in my opinion, while we're getting the flow data for Eagle, to go ahead and do this exercise.
How many homes are in that neighborhood?
23.
23. Yeah, so any big bill is, that's a lot of money. Yeah. Questions, comments? Okay, what's the wishes of the board? I have given a suggested motion.
I would make the motion to authorize the township supervisor to sign the CES agreement dated May 12, 2026 for the Reichs Farm Septic Alternative Study and to fund it out of Fund 101-441, public improvements causing a budget amendment, and to include the cost of the study in the final solution for replacement of the sanitary sewer services for Reichs Farm subdivision. Does that agreement have to be signed by myself as well? Can that be signed? It is a contract.
It's a contract, so Leslie will need to get that signature page with both Michael and my signature.
I'll
Okay.
authorize the supervisor and clerk.
I think we already had it, I may have missed it, let's go down here.
It's no big deal.
And do we need to
In the
have the
motion.
not
Yeah,
to
we'll just-
exceed on there? Or no?
Yeah, it has not to exceed $39,840.
You have that as well? Not,
$840.
Yeah, if you could shoot that to me, Leslie, with adding Michael down below that, and then I'll send that tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep, it needs a second.
Second.
Okay, as we have motion, we have support, discussion on the motion. Could we have a roll call, Kelly?
Randy Brake,
Yes.
Dan Ringo.
Yes.
Tracy Edry,
Yes.
Rachel Little
Yes.
Michael Phillips,
yes.
Martin Trout.
Yes, motion passes. Okay,
Thank
we'll
you.
take care of it tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is the DPW plow truck. Okay, as we discussed this in our budget negotiations this year or discussions, there's a need for another truck. And it really is due to the age and increasing maintenance issues associated with the F-550. Over the past several years, the truck has required significant repairs and is becoming less reliable for winter operations. The current plan is to add an additional truck equipped with a salt spreader. This would provide the township with a total of 3 trucks capable of snow plowing and salt spreading, while allowing us to continue utilizing the F-550 for the time being. My goal is just to milk it out. Attached are the quotes we obtained for your consideration. A Dodge pickup was not included in the quotes due to its electric shift system. I think it's fair to say, and Brian's out in the audience, that when they're plowing snow, they probably spend more time turning the radio off because they've switched with the knob there between drive, forward, and reverse.
They're horrible.
Yeah, they're trying to snow plow and they're turning the radio up and down. Yeah, it really works great. So we didn't go for the Dodge. And as Brian has discussed with me, the Chevrolets, they are discontinuing this particular body style with the cab, so we limited it to the GMC and the Ford F3. That's F350 and the GMC 3500. This is, again, I've kind of broke it down. You have the quotations from LaFontaine for the truck and the snow plow and installation and the salt spreader. We're looking at the GMC costing, total cost is $84,734.40. The Ford F-350 is $81,153.40.
However, that may change because we haven't gotten an actual final from Ford.
I highlighted this, but Brian has checked, and the installation cost for the snowplow on the Ford is the same as the GMC. Is that correct, Brian?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
correct.
So there's no change there. So that's the difference between the two.
And for any other purposes, and it's sure it doesn't make a difference, they do have for the 2025 GMC Sierra, they have Green Oak Township Fire Department
Yeah.
as the customer. Not that
We
it
can
makes a
change
big
that.
deal, but,
No, that can be changed.
yeah.
And as you can see, we elected to go with a NAPID body, service body. There's enough room to put the salt spreader in. The real difference is the GMC has a little more room between the seat and the rear to give more storage compartment area behind the seat. But again, the body style is exactly, and I threw the picture in here for the Green Oak Township, it's basically the same body style with the NAPID box on it.
Single rear wheel though.
Yeah, this is a single wheel, the fire department is a dual wheel.
And the GMC also has a higher gross vehicle weight rating.
Okay, the GMC does?
Yes.
Okay,
Mark, is that an aluminum body that they're adding to it?
no,
Steel, okay.
no. Aluminum body is gonna be in your F-150s, the
He's talking
250s.
about- He's talking about the accessory body.
Accessory body, I can't tell you that.
It's steel, it's the same thing that the fire department has.
Yeah, that's steel. Yeah, it's steel.
The price
Basically
really,
modeled it off of Doug's truck.
the price really isn't that big of a difference, so is there a preference? Do you have a preference?
GMC.
Then we have continuity in the fleet as well.
Yeah?
Yep, I would agree with the continuity.
Are we going from a 550 to a 350 basically for engine selection, or to get away from the dual rear axle, or what's the reasoning?
Well, we have the Dodge, that has a dual rear wheel, and it's very large. The 550 is just big, it's a diesel, we don't really need diesel, we're not, and we've had a lot of problems with the diesel.
Can't hear you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Brian, so if you could come up. One of the thought process that I had is by staying with the 3,500. If, and it's not if, it's when the 550 is done, or it will be, again, failed, and it always fails around the wintertime.
Yep.
We will, at least with the 3,500 or the F-350, will still be able to transport the Kubota tractor around. So, we don't lose that capability.
Yeah, that was in mind the entire time, so we could still move the tractor around and all that. But with the 550 and the Dodge, that gives us two double axles, or two rear-wheel drives that are double, rather than this one's gonna be a single, which gives us a lot more room, a lot more area to go places. If we have to go on the path for some reason, the dualies are just big. So it's a smaller vehicle, and we don't need two dualies.
That's all I had.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Tracy?
Nope, I'm good.
Trish?
Nope.
Dan?
Questions?
Thoughts from the board? Direction from the board?
Just need a motion to approve the purchase?
Yep.
Okay.
You can state the vehicle.
GMC 3500. And do I need to make anything in the motion to direct anyone to do anything, or just
Direct
make the
the
motion
clerk-
to purchase?
The motion should be to purchase per the quotes provided, and direct the supervisor and clerk to sign those documents.
So moved.
Is there support?
I'll second.
Okay, we have support. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Gina Rainville,
Yes.
Tricia Whipple-Vasey,
Yes.
Randy Brink,
Yes.
Tracy Edry,
Yes.
Michael Sillhauser,
Yes.
Kathleen Crowe.
Yes, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we will get on that right away. Okay, the next item is the resolution number 18, 2026, adoption of the materiality threshold policy. Wherever you feel comfortable,
Thank you.
Dawn.
Except back there.
I know, it's a little more crowded than I thought it would be tonight. So we have expenses every year that are paid in one fiscal year, but they're actually incurred or received in another fiscal year. One example of this is a medical insurance bill for April coverage that is paid in March. So it's really for the next fiscal year, but it's paid in March. And then in April and May, we receive invoices for services performed in March or February. So we need to record these in the correct period. We have accounting treatments to do that. However, doing those treatments for every little expense is an inefficient use of time and effort for something that really doesn't have a material impact on the financial statements. So, and that is the whole point of moving the expenses or recording them in the correct period, is so that the financial statements are as accurate as they can be. However, that's to a point. When you're looking at every penny, that could be, can it be moved? That 50 cents, could that actually go into the previous fiscal year? That's not going to have a material impact on the financial statements, and that takes a lot of time and focus that are better spent on other things, especially at year end. So this materiality threshold has actually been our de facto policy for the last 2 fiscal year ends since we started working with Woodhill Group. It is a more efficient way of doing these treatments, and we decided on the amount of $1,000, of which our auditors have been aware of this for last fiscal year during the audit. They did not object to that. Going forward, we'll keep it at 1,000 until the time comes when maybe that seems inefficient as well. Let's hope that's several years into the future before $1,000 seems immaterial. But that is what we'd like to do. So when we do the prepaid expenses, and that's the ones we pay in March for April coverage, for example, if it's required by GAAP, we may do it for under 1,000, but any other expenses, we'll do them for 1,000 and greater. For the other side of the fiscal year, when we're into April or May, we can, if we catch them, which we've tried diligently to do, we post-date them back to 3/31. If something slips through, we can accrue it back with a little bit more complicated accounting treatment. And again, we are looking at $1,000 or more.
So what this boils down to is an efficiency of operations.
Yes, it's like chasing, a couple of pennies in. It's great to try to find out if there's something's 2 cents off. It's great to try to figure out what that was, but if it's not worth, a week of pulling out your hair for 2 pennies. So it's kind of that same concept of.
And what is the budget that you're applying this to total volume?
This is applied to the whole township budget.
So we're looking at about $8 million or so, and hunting around for, what, 20,000 by the time we're all done, out of 8 million?
Right, yeah.
It is a terrible waste of time and effort.
It's a terrible waste of time and effort, but it develops a policy and a procedure, and by this resolution, it etches it in stone. So if we're ever challenged from the auditors or anyone else, we have a policy.
Right, exactly. Like I said, this has been our de facto policy. It's not, we'd rather have it in black and white here that that's our policy.
Right.
That's how we make those determinations of what to record, what to do prepaid or accruals for.
I know that Ryan has had discussions with Mark and I and Trish about this, and this is the way we should be going.
Yep, I agree.
Well, I'm more than happy to make a motion to accept resolution number 18-2026, adoption of materiality threshold policy, signed by the supervisor and the clerk.
Support.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ian Rico.
Yes.
Tracy Oakley.
Yes.
Randy Quaid.
Yes.
Tricia Whipple-Bazey.
Yes.
Michael Bublé.
Yes.
Mark Sepro.
Yes.
It wasn't
Resolution
that
is...
bad. We don't bite.
You know, I'll get used to it over time. Thank you so
Dawn.
much.
Thank you. And congratulations again.
Yes, congratulations.
Okay. Next item I have is a quality business park response to engineering standard review. Yes, sir, if you would introduce yourself and make your presentation.
Thank you. Let me just get my technology, put it up here. We'll try. Okay. Okay, so Steve Shimke with Shaped Construction. We're an affiliate of SE Development, the applicant here. So, Mr. Supervisor, Township Board, thank you for allowing us to come present this today. I'm joined by Lucas. He's with the EA Group, our civil engineer for this project. So if I may present my screen, I can walk through what we're proposing today.
Yeah, if you would, you're asking for a variance of our engineering design standards, so at this point, I guess, make a case.
Sure. Am I able to access the screen?
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to start with a little overview. This project really lived with the Planning Commission. A lot of diligence went with it. It was a permitted use project, so it didn't make it to Township Board. A lot of diligence into the approval from the Planning Commission, from the consultants, the contract planners, engineers, as well as our team. So because it hasn't made it here, I'm going to do a very quick overview. Very much a local project with local players, so that the land is owned by Jim O'Donnell, who owns family-owned O'Donnell Electric, who resides just south of here. Purchased the property several years ago, looked at doing his facility there, ended up not to for a handful of reasons. Brought us in to really help activate the site and see who else in the community had a use where the zoning worked for them, and really wanted to make an investment in Green Oak Township. So great news is we found that group fairly recently, and that's another family-owned company, Quality Air Systems, second generation commercial HVAC group. The current owners are Chris and Nick Marinkovich, very local family and local business. And then, of course, working with PEA, who's located just in Brighton. So really excited to bring this project forward. And we just have one element for consideration for the board today. Location of the project, hopefully everyone's taking a look at it, but just north of this is 36. If you can picture, this is the new self-storage facility here, if you can picture that. And we're just north of the Hershey's building on the west side of Old 23. So there's two related parcels that I think are a subject of the request. This is a now combined 8-acre parcel, which went through site plan approval with the Planning Commission that we've since received approval on. And this is the remaining 29-acre parcel that is where the executive drive sits, and that's related to our request today. It's worth noting it's 29 acres total. It's really only about 4.5 buildable, so this upland area is really a remaining buildable. The remaining of the site will remain undeveloped, and with the exception of our additional stormwater infrastructure here. A little orientation to the site. So this is now, as we kind of zoom in, this was really just looking at the cleared area when we zoom into this next slide. This is the first phase of development, which is all that we're moving forward with at this time. A couple things to note. I'll start left to right. We worked really hard, and the planning commission was excellent, as well as the consultants, with working us through kind of full compliance on their side. We did relocate the pond to save some landmark trees, which we're glad working with Lucas' team that worked out. Executive Drive is existing. We are getting improved as part of this project. It's an existing drive. The one thing our project is doing is adding 360-degree circulation. We did have a fire circulation plan as part of our site plan approval. We did make a minor edit to this peninsula after Chief Gentry's comments. So we do have full circulation with the 49-foot fire truck as part of our plan. Another thing, just from a kind of a beautification associated with our plan, a couple things are hard to see here, but so we are installing our walk all the way up and down the east boundary. We are removing some trees to install the walk, and the walk's a township requirement. We are obviously following the ordinance and replacing those trees. So really, we have kind of a four-sided improvement to our plan, really landscape all the way around it. There's some residential to the north that we're adding additional evergreen screening to make sure that's properly screened. So a ton of investment going in to make sure this limited industrial zone site is respectful of the neighbors. So to make the case for what we're asking for today, there's a road standard that requires a cul-de-sac then of a private road. I think a couple things to note. This is not a new drive. We're not installing this drive. This drive already exists. By tying into this drive, we're not adding another curb cut. That would be the alternative to not accessing off this drive, would be to have a curb cut. That's additional cost, additional disturbance, obviously additional traffic considerations. We don't think it's prudent, especially when we have the owner who owns the land on Executive Drive who's willing to provide an easement into it. We feel that connecting into Executive Drive is the right design. Worth noting that the cul-de-sac at this location is not dimensionally practical. You can see this is a property line here, and the size of a cul-de-sac would encroach really on both property lines and essentially touch what we have kind of our setback-driven parking here. I mentioned that our development is adding 360-degree circulation. So right now, if a fire truck were to navigate into here, it would be a dead end. By having our site, they can now have the ability to come in and circulate the site, something that doesn't, frankly, is an improvement on what's there today. And curb cut I mentioned. So that's really it. We're excited about the project. We think this is a sensible request given the dimensional nature of the site and again what we're doing to hopefully increase access. So would love to take questions and answer them the best we can.
Okay. Michael, from a planning commission standpoint?
Elimination of the cul-de-sac was never requested nor considered at the planning commission.
That's correct. So it's not a zoning ordinance item. The private road standard, it lives outside the zoning ordinance. So the direction we got was it wasn't going to be a planning commission item. It was going to be a waiver to an engineering standard, therefore it would come to the township board. We did receive some commentary in the meeting. It wasn't up for vote, so it wasn't deliberated on heavily. It was pointed out that it didn't make a lot of sense to put the cul-de-sac at this location, but again, we were directed that it wasn't an item for planning commission consideration because we weren't asking for anything related to zoning ordinance, specifically an engineering standard.
If I can, where did you get that direction from? That it was not a planning commission issue? Because all site plans are a planning commission issue.
Who specifically did we get it from?
Yeah.
From Rick Miner, CES.
So it wasn't from the planning commission?
Well, no, we were instructed it wasn't purview of the planning commission. We didn't bring it forward to the In the meeting, and we can watch, it's in the minutes, and I watched the video a couple nights ago. I mentioned to the planning commission, that our intent was to bring this forward for consideration. That was not our intent to put in the cul-de-sac at that location, that we were gonna ask for a waiver, so we weren't withholding anything from the planning commission. I think if you watch the meeting, it's pretty clear. We were instructed this was the process for approval.
Okay, before I get going,
I'm sorry, I did not recall that. When I left that meeting, even though it was going to have some difficulties, my vote was based on the fact that cul-de-sac was going in. And I'll leave it at that.
I'm going to switch over for a minute. Anybody that knows me for the last 30-plus years, this is the plan that was approved by the Planning Commission. Would you pop it up a little bit there? This plan, again, approved by the Greeno Township Planning Commission, shows this cul-de-sac there. Pure and simple. And I went through your, and I'm not going to bring it up, but I went through your April 2nd submittal, and every plan, every sheet that I've seen down through your plans shows that cul-de-sac in here. What we're looking at tonight is again, this is your plan as you've presented tonight, which is structurally different than what was approved by the Planning Commission. And matter of fact, if I go back here, and most people will know, I am a stickler for detail, just like a couple people are on the Planning Commission. You also have this phase 2. You have more details here on your phase 2. And then granted, it's phase 2 future, and on this particular plan, it's being presented in front of us to approve without the cul-de-sac, does not have that detail. And quite frankly, I don't think we can grant anything here that hasn't been witnessed and seen and approved by the Planning Commission. That's just.
I don't mind the position. Can I respond to that just briefly?
What?
Can I respond to that briefly?
Yeah.
So we were told very explicitly that Planning Commission does not make conditional approvals, which totally respect, understand. So we wouldn't be able to have Planning Commission approve a plan conditional on another approval. It was our absolute preference to present the plan without the cul-de-sac, but because we were told it was an engineering standard, not a zoning ordinance standard, we couldn't get Planning Commission approval conditional on board's approval to waive the cul-de-sac. That's the only reason we didn't present without.
I disagree with that, because granted, the Planning Commission cannot grant a waiver from the engineering standards, but they can have this plan, and they can also, they can make their approval, they can approve their site plan and recommend a waiver to the engineering design standards. But again, we're looking at two completely different plans here. The one you've submitted here for tonight's meeting, and this one here that the Planning Commission has not seen. And I have a fundamental problem with that. That's Mark. After 30 years of doing this, it's just Mark here. And I know that, granted, I could look at that and say, yes, there's a problem with the cul-de-sac because it's on somebody else's property, but there are solutions. And I haven't seen, even though you have referenced that there's approval from the fire chief, I haven't seen that documentation to circulate through the property with fire apparatus. Yeah, I get it. I know you've indicated, I'll throw this out. You've indicated that Executive Drive would be extended for future development. Do you have any idea when that future development and a cul-de-sac is going to go in it then?
As soon as we can do it. That's the honest answer.
10, 20 years?
No, certainly sooner than that. And we're actively working, I mean, we've been working on the site for about 18 months, and this is our first project we're actively working on.
My biggest fear, and I will come right out and say it, is if this is approved, you're going to build your phase one, and I hope you guys are very successful. I'm not against it. Then you're going to build phase two. And so we're going to have interior circulation for fire vehicles, and that is it. And there's not a thing we can do about it because this area to the west will not be developed. That's a fear. That's a concern. And also, the engineering design standards were developed and implemented for the health, safety, and the welfare of the community and your development. No place in the design standards are they designed that says, well, this is our standards if you can afford them. So I just, personally, I have a problem with the way this is being done. I think the Planning Commission should have looked at this. The Planning Commission, if they agree with all of this and the fire chief agrees with all of it, I think there's an approval with a recommendation from the Planning Commission
To
that
eliminate the cul-de-sac.
to eliminate the cul-de-sac. Then that's procedurally correct.
Yeah, and I could say that would have been our strong preference. I regret that either we got the wrong direction or we misinterpreted it. Because everything you're saying with, I agree completely. I don't like the idea of being this far out along, not knowing if this was how this is going to be viewed. So I don't disagree with anything you said. I regret that we were sent on the path we were
This does
on.
need to go back before the planning commission. And I would make the motion from being on the planning commission and being understanding it, that we deny this variance at this point and send it back to the planning commission for further approval.
Agree, support.
You support?
Absolutely.
Okay, we have motion and support. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Yep.
We'll look forward to
Sure.
seeing you in
Thank
the
you.
future.
See us at the planning commission.
Yep, thank you.
And present what you presented here tonight. However, what I would like to see is that western parcel,
Yep.
you're hoping to develop that at some point in time, correct?
Yeah, of course, yes. That's what
You
I
would
said.
have to put a cul-de-sac in there. So you might want to weigh the probability of what is it going to take cost-wise
Yeah.
to extend Executive Drive at this point and put that cul-de-sac in that you're eventually going to have to put in anyhow.
Or what is it gonna look like in the future? Yeah, I think, you have to look out a little bit further. We're not opposed to your development. Very nice looking building,
Appreciate it.
It
But
actually
it's-
is very nice.
but it's process.
I've said my piece in the process. We're a process organization. We follow process. The process we
Thank
went
you.
down was wrong, so, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, with that, we'll go on to the next item. And, Michael, this is yours.
Okay.
Resignation letter, retirement resignation letter.
Okay, well, I'll read it because that's probably the easiest way to do it. And I will give a little background on this. This is something that I wanted to do actually a month ago, as far as presenting this to the board, but after just consulting with Michigan Township Association and Catherine Mohart about the legality and timing and everything, we couldn't do it that far out. It has to be within 30 days. And then there were some specific things that had to be in that letter as well. So, with that, to my esteemed Board of Trustees, as you may be aware, I originally intended not to run for re-election in 2024. Because no one expressed interest in running for the position at the time, I filed and ran for a 7th consecutive term. With over 40 years of public service to Green Oak Charter Township and over 25 years of that as Township Clerk, I have decided to retire. My last day of work as clerk will be June 30th, 2026. Check mark on the MCL. I would ask that the Board of Trustees to formally accept my retirement resignation letter. If you don't, I have to stay working. I know where each of you live. It has been an honor to be a part of this organization. We have accomplished so much for the good of the township. I'm deeply grateful for the trust placed in me, the opportunity to grow professionally, and the friendships that I have built. Working alongside such a dedicated group of coworkers, board and employees all, has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. I will do everything possible to ensure a smooth transition, including assisting with training or documentation before my departure. The Clerk's Department staff is a well-trained professional group who will assist the new clerk in every way. While I'm excited to begin this new chapter of life, I will always look back proudly on my time here. Thank you again for your support, guidance, and kindness throughout my tenure. I wish Green Oak Charter Township success in the years ahead. I'm surprised I got through that.
I didn't.
Before we officially accept Michael's retirement resignation letter, I need to say, when I look back, 26 years ago, I can remember running for office, supervisor, along with Bill Desmond, and Michael was running, and of course, we all won. And Bill Desmond says, "Who's this Michael character?" I said, "Well, he's on the fire department. I know that because I knew him from the fire department, but other than that, I didn't know him." So, and I know many have heard this story, but we arranged to meet at the Big Boy down in Whitmore Lake. And Michael and Bill and I sat down, and it was one of them where we sat down and said, "Okay, what's your thoughts? What's your philosophy? Who are you? What's going on? You know, who are we all?" And Mike didn't really, he knew us too, or at least me, but I don't think you knew Bill at the time.
Not at all.
And so that's where we sat down and said, okay, how do we want to run Green Oak Township? How do we want to govern? How do we pull things together? How do we work together? And it's been 26 years, and we have accomplished a heck of a lot in this time frame. So it's been a pleasure working with you, Michael, and we're not done yet, but we have done a lot. We've covered a lot of distance here, and it's been my pleasure.
So I'm the newbie, so all of you guys have worked with him for a while, so I'll probably be the most emotional one. Coming here, I didn't know what to expect. Working with you guys and how to come into a group of people that I didn't know. And I gotta be honest, open arms, mentoring, and I say mentoring, he says no. I just give you some words of wisdom. I don't mentor you. And you've really been an asset to my official 3 years as of today at the township, where I feel like I've grown a lot, and it's not just you. I mean, Mark's been very instrumental too, but I'm gonna miss you. You're my pot stirrer. You're my big brother, and it's been fun. We laugh. We have a good time. We have great staff. We built a really good relationship with all of our staff together, and I just want to say I appreciate just the few years I've had working with you and seeing what you've accomplished, and I really hope that the boards you put me on, I can try to fill those shoes. They're big shoes, but I'm going to do my best to make you proud for Green Oak Township. So thank you. Thank you.
I want to say thank you as well. I know it's been 20 years, and you were the person I came to when I first was interested in maybe becoming a trustee, and you encouraged me, and you mentored me over the 20 years, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Mike, I've enjoyed our time together. You accepted me right from the beginning. In fact, before I was here, you accepted me. And we've had great times talking over township policies, vehicles through the years, and everything else. And I've got to
Fast
compliment
cars.
you.
Fast car.
I got a picture of you here. Normally, when people are retiring, they usually pull out their high school graduation picture, you know, and paste it up there. This one looks like you.
Well, Mike, I met you on the fire department 26 years ago,
Yeah.
and you encouraged me to actually run for office and to run for, as a trustee. And, you were very helpful, and I appreciate everything you've done. And we've been friends for, 26 years,
26 years.
so, At your retirement, I'll tell about the first time I met you. It was not good.
Yeah, well,
That's for another day.
that is for another day. Exaggerations are allowed.
Well, with all that said and done, and everybody is emotional, I'll go out on a limb, and I will make a motion to accept Michael's retirement resignation letter. Normally I do this with regrets, but it's, and regrets, but congratulations. And wishing you very well in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
I think we all support that.
Okay,
Can't second.
with that, could we have a roll call on that one?
Sure. Randy Brink,
Yes.
Dan Reinfeldt,
Yes.
Tracy Edgar,
Yes.
Crystal Rubble-Bandy,
Yes.
Ashton Carlton.
Yes, motion passes. Michael, congratulations, and
Thank you.
yes. Okay, but you're not done yet.
No.
Okay, next item, appointment of clerk to fill remainder of 2024-2028 term. Michael, can you do this?
I can do this.
Okay.
I've been looking forward to doing this. The clerk's office has been succession planning for close to 3 years. It began in 2023 when I thought I was retiring at the 2024 election. It continued after no one filed other than me to run for clerk's office in April 2024. As the term began, I continuously prepared the clerk's staff for succession, and that continues today. One of my top priorities was to recruit my replacement, and fortunately, someone has expressed interest to step into that role for the remainder of the term. I propose that Deborah McKenzie be appointed by the board to take on the position of clerk for the remainder of the term and into the future if the citizens so choose in 2028. Deborah has worked for the township for over 20 years. Mark and I hired her. And has worked for the clerks administering elections since 2006. Deborah has been an election worker, co-precinct chair, and master chair, along with Randy, during the succeeding years. Deborah just last week completed her election official accreditation with the state of Michigan. Deborah has accompanied me to various clerk education sessions, both in and out of the state, prepare herself for this role, and I'm completely confident that she'll be able to successfully perform the responsibilities of the office. In accordance with MCL 168.370(3), I cannot participate in the motion for my replacement. The MCL also states that the resigning official shall not vote on the appointment when the board is voting to approve a person to fill the vacancy during the 30 days prior to that taking effect. Notice that, Trish? Therefore, I would...
Inside joke.
Sorry, this is too funny. Anyhow, therefore, I would highly recommend Deborah McKenzie be appointed by motion of this board to the office of clerk for the remainder of the November 20, 2024 to November 20, 2028 term of office, effective July 1, 2026. I'm asking for this appointment now because of the amount of work needed for a smooth transition. banking, benefits, contracts, account holder, and everything from All-Star Alarm to WOW Cable. This would be just as we did when our treasurer, Trish Wiggle-Bazzi, was appointed to fill the remainder of the previous treasurer's terms. If you should have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me at your convenience.
Okay.
Couldn't be happier to make this recommendation.
With this recommendation, as Mike mentioned, Mike and I hired Deborah 20 years ago, and it has been fun to watch Deborah grow. Deborah is an amazing person. Yeah, it's been a pleasure to work with her, watch her grow. Had I not thought that, she would not have been my deputy supervisor, and I felt as much trust in Deborah to be my deputy supervisor. And as much as I hate to see her go from the position, I think this is an excellent position for her. She'll do a great job, and the township wins also. So I'm proud to see this recommendation. And if nobody else has any comments, I will make that motion.
Wow.
One night.
Look at you.
Wow, holy Toledo.
I don't do that very often.
No, you
so
don't.
I'm very lucky tonight.
I will support it.
Okay, discussion on the motion?
Just the same discussion. I'm excited to work side by side with you. I have got to know you in the last couple years and seeing the things you've done for the township. And Mike, Mark, the board up here, I just think that Green Oak Township is not just a board and not the people that make decisions for the township. We're a family at work that also looks out for the families in the township, and I'm excited to bring you up here as the family, and we are not going to have 3 girls on the board, so that's even more exciting, so.
Yeah. But, okay, I'll have you here and Deborah here. I'm in trouble.
Mark, you're screwed.
I'm happy for you. Well deserved. Very well.
Anyone else? Appointment roll call, please.
Marcy Charles,
Yes.
Randy Gray,
Yes.
Tracy Edry,
Yes.
Kristen Wiggle-Bazzi,
Absolutely, yes.
Ann Rachel.
Yes.
Motion passes. Congratulations. Deborah. Okay, next item.
So just a little,
Okay.
before the 30th, I'll swear Deborah in probably at the next meeting, effective July 1st. I think that would be appropriate at that time. And then her first action, so that she's aware, is have to appoint a deputy the first morning she starts. Because the deputy loses that position the moment I step out of office.
That's right.
Because that is a political appointee position.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem, but
I don't think either, but I think it's important that I inform the board of these changes coming forward.
Yep.
Yeah, it is the moment, yeah, it's a political appointee position.
Okay, moving on. Ordinance introduction, contract negotiator. Michael, do you want to explain this, or?
So, Mark came to me as the end is nearing, and has appreciated, and has appreciated what I've been able to accomplish with the police and the fire contract negotiations throughout the years. And asked me, is there a way that we can stay on in this role as needed? And consulting with legal staff, this is what has to be done to make that happen. The goal of it is to allow me to continue to train the next group of people who will be doing the contract negotiations. And that I see as being Trish, Mark, well, you're going to stay out of it, and Deb, to do that.
There is some value in this position because as technically referred to as the CEO or the budgetary person, the fiscal responsibility rests with me. So by having this set up, I'm the one that the negotiating committee can come back and say, can we afford this? And I say no. Very simple. And so I like to keep that arrangement. So I think this is a good method to keep moving forward.
Well, for the time being.
For the time being.
And the idea is the end game on it will be to have two other negotiators in those positions in the future.
Right.
And then it'll be a simple matter of me stepping aside. But it has to be handled this way to make it legal.
Anybody have questions, comments, concerns?
That makes sense.
Need a motion?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve Green Oak Charter.
Introduce.
Introduce, oh.
Introduce.
Yeah, you always get me on that, don't you?
I do.
That's one thing you didn't help me with.
No, you didn't listen. You didn't listen.
Introduce Green Oak Charter Township Ordinance Number 03-2026, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2, Administration, Article 3, Officers and Employees, to add a new division entitled Bargaining Unit Negotiator to establish the position of Contracted Bargaining Unit Negotiator Director, to provide for appointment, duties, authority, supervision, and removal, and to provide for the related matters pursuant to the authority granted to the townships under the laws of the state of Michigan.
Support.
We have support. Discussion?
Everybody's waiting. Jim's not there.
Yeah. Throw us all off. Jim's
Yeah, I know.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call?
Yes.
Tricia Littlebaby,
Yes.
Dan Renko,
Yes.
Tracy Edry,
Yes.
Randy Brink,
Yes.
Michael Feldt,
I can't vote on this.
You can't vote on it.
I can't vote on this.
Marcy Charles.
Yes. Resolution or ordinance is introduced. Okay, we'll have it at the next meeting. Okay, next item is I, board appointments as needed. And based on everything we've done tonight, we have 2 board appointments that are needed. With the appointment of Deborah to the position of the clerk, we now have to appoint, and it is required by the township board to appoint a zoning administrator. And with that, quite a while now, we have been grooming somebody, shall we say. And again, it's was for the purpose of having redundancy and backup when we need it. And when this came up, Deborah and I sat down and talked, and the logical choice is Ashley Koska. She's been in the building department. We brought her in full-time. I can say that Ashley is on fire. Very articulate. She's great with the residents and the builders that come in. She's got a great attitude. She likes to learn. She's learning a lot. And surprising even me with some of the stuff she's coming up with. So I am excited. This is another opportunity to appoint a person to a position and then watch them grow and flourish in this. And I think she's going to do a great job for us here and the township as a whole. And that is my recommendation.
I will make that motion to appoint Ashley Koska to the zoning administrator of Green Oak Charter Township. Well deserved.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Discussion? Hearing none, another roll call. Sorry, Kelly.
I am so glad you're here tonight.
Dan Renko,
Yes.
Randy Brink,
Yes.
Tracy Edry,
Yes.
Tricia Littlebaby,
Yes.
Michael Feldt,
Yes.
Marcy Charles.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you, Ashley. Okay, with that, yes, we'll in a second. Okay. With that, the second appointment that we have to make tonight, and I do have a recommendation, but in all fairness, I want to do it a different way. With Deborah, with Michael's retirement resignation, that creates a void for the township representative to the planning commission. And so we need to fill that position. And I do have a recommendation, but I want to throw it out here. Is there anybody on the board that wishes to be the township representative? Tricia said, not a dodge. To be the township board representative. It's a rewarding job, but it is also a difficult job. But before I make my recommendation, I want to make sure there's any board members that are interested in it. I don't want to sidestep.
Duck and a diving going on here.
I'm not hearing a whole lot of volunteers.
That's why I was glad I was here tonight, because I knew I'd be appointed if not. I think we're waiting on you then.
I guess so. So in my normal tradition, I will draft. I am going to recommend for continuity in the planning commission that Deborah McKenzie be appointed the township board representative to the planning commission.
I can't see a better choice with 20 years of history and working with the planning commission and then the bank of knowledge that will come with that. I will gladly make the motion to make that happen.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, with that, before we conclude here, head towards conclusion, Deborah, Ashley, either one of you want to say anything?
Oh, she's got a book with her now.
Thank you. I just want to start off by saying I truly do agree with everything Trish said, that it is truly a family. When I was hired on August 1st in 2005, from the moment I came in, it was very welcoming. Mark and Mike, you've done a wonderful job of mentoring me to get me to this point. I did write a little something, so if you don't mind, because I will cry if I don't read it. So thank you, Supervisor St. Charles, members of the Township Board, Clerk Sedlak, Treasurer Tricia Wiggle-Bazzi, staff, residents of Green Oak Charter Township. I am honored and humbled to accept this appointment as a Township Clerk for the remainder of the term. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Clerk Sedlak for his recommendation and to the Township Board for placing your trust and your confidence in me. As a resident of Green Oak since 1998, this community is not only where I work, it's also where I choose to live. This perspective has given me an even greater appreciation for the people, neighborhoods, and quality of life that makes Green Oak such a special place. For the last 20 years, I've had the privilege of serving Green Oak and working alongside Supervisor Mark St. Charles. During this time, I have gained an understanding of the township operations, built strong relationships with our staff, our residents, and developed a genuine appreciation for public service and local government. I worked my first election in 2006. Since then, I have witnessed firsthand the importance of accurate records, fair and secure elections, and for public trust that is placed in the clerk's office. Those experiences helped me prepare for the responsibilities, and accepting today have strengthened my commitment to serving our residents with integrity and professionalism. I'm sorry, but my nose is running. I truly apologize.
See, that doesn't happen anywhere else. That's.
I have always been committed to serving our community with professional integrity and dedication. As clerk, I will diligently work to uphold the responsibilities of the office, ensure transparency and accuracy of our records and elections, to continue providing the high level of service our residents deserve. I am grateful for this opportunity I've had for over the last 2 decades, for the support of my colleagues, both present and past. I recognize the importance of this position and trust that comes with it. I am committed to carrying out these duties to the best of my ability. Thank you again, Clerk Sedlak, for your confidence in me, and to the board for this appointment, and to the residents of Green Oak, whom we are privileged to serve. I look forward to continue working with all of you as we move this township forward. Thank you so much for your appointment.
Yeah. This,
Take your
this is
Kleenex.
a test, Ashley. I think, I know everybody knows you're here, but this is a chance for everybody to see you
Yes.
and.
Hello, first time up at the podium, not my last probably. For those who don't know me, maybe, Kelly, I don't know if I've met you directly, but I'm Ashley Koska. I actually grew up off of 9 Mile here in Green Oak Township, so if you would have asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up and asked me if I wanted to be the planning and zoning administrator of the town that I grew up in, I would have said, what are you talking about? But this opportunity has been presented to me, and I work with the most amazing group of people. And Michael, I'm gonna miss you, but thank you for this opportunity. You opened this door for me, and it's gonna be really sad without you, because I would have liked to learn a lot more from you in my time, but I know you're gonna be busy racing cars, so you'll be happy. And thank you, Mark, for this opportunity and just all the time that you've spent with me so far, teaching me. I'm gonna know so much about dirt. I know more than I need to know about dirt already, but.
And she does know a lot about that.
Way more than I ever thought I was gonna need to know. So I just thank you again for this. And Debbie, I couldn't do it without you. You've been amazing, and I'm so excited to see what you can do, what you will do. And you're still here, so I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions. So thank you, guys. Thank you.
And I can add to this a little bit. When the whole subject came up, and I talked with Debbie about it, I knew the hard task was I was going to have to go to Al and explain to Al that I'm picking some more of his employees. And when I brought it up to Al said, absolutely, she would be perfect. So everybody has the faith in Ashley that she can do this job and do it very, very well. And the only thing is I did have to promise Al that as building picks up, I will help him find somebody else in the building department. But on the other hand, too, the one nice thing about us and the way we work around here is even though Ashley will be over there in planning and zoning when needed, I know she will assist in the building department. Just as Deb will be in the clerk's department, between Debbie and I, we will still be assisting in the fostering and educating and assisting Ashley in her development. So that's what makes it fun around here, the way it works. So again, congratulations, everybody. Okay, with that, let's see, discussion items. Any needed tonight? Committee reports. Executive session, there is none needed tonight. Call of the public. Anyone wishing to address the board in the last call of the public? Hearing none, we will close the call to the public, and at this time we stand adjourned.